Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is Amelia here from Amelia's Frugal Life. As you might have guessed, just as a heads up, I'm filming this when it is really close to sunset. We are in October now and the sun is setting earlier and earlier, so I've tried to, this isn't my usual filming spot or space or time, and I'm just trying to beat the sun. So this is the only time that I have to film this video, so we're gonna roll with it. Today's video is how to get out of debt. I thought it's all well and good me telling you how to live a debt-free life, but if you are currently in debt, how do you get out of it? This is just my personal preference on how to get out of debt. Everyone is a little bit different, but I feel like this, for me, is the best method I have researched and found out about, and there's a few steps to it. The first thing you wanna do is go through your budget. You are in quite a bit of debt and you really want to get out of it. The only way you're going to do that is if you go through your budget, take out all the unnecessary items. You want to pin your budget to the bare minimum, and you want to find ways in which you can save money. I've got a video down below which is how to budget for beginners. I'll link that up above and down below. But this is the most important thing about getting out of debt, is having a budget. And the amount of people that do not actually have budgets still surprises me to this day. The amount of people that have told me that they don't or can't have a budget, it's surprising. And for all the people that say they can't have a budget because they are self-employed, they have different amount of incomes each month, then what you want to do is get the minimum amount of what you need to survive, figure out what that is, and then on your good months you need to put some away for the bad months. So if you know your bare baseline of outgoings is £1,000 and you generally make about £2,000, but there are sometimes you have a really bad month and you might make £800, then you want to, the months where you have a good month, put a couple of hundred pounds away for the bad months. Sorry, I've got my notes here, and that's why I always look down in my videos. I notice when I start to edit that I do this a lot. That's why. Yeah, you want to make a budget and cut out all unnecessary spending. You want to get the bare minimum. Your bills that cannot change, so like rent or mortgage, if you cannot change them. Your things like electric, water, all of these things that can't be changed. I mean, you can go to your electric provider and gas provider places and try and switch and save a bit of money. That'd be great to do. But generally, that is something that you have to pay every single month. You want to get that. You want to get your food and your fuel budget as small as possible. Get your budget to as minimal amount as possible so that you have a huge excess, or hopefully a huge or a bigger excess amount of money at the end of the month. The smallest amount of money you can possibly live off is what you're going to do to be able to get out of debt. Once you've gone through your budget and you've worked out how much you have spare, you want to create an emergency fund. I will link a video down below about how to and why the importance there is to create an emergency fund. Have £500 or £1,000 in an emergency fund so that if a big thing comes up during this frugal paying off debt time, you don't have to get into more debt. Get your emergency fund set up before you move on to the next step. Once you have gone through your budget, then what you want to do is go through all of your debts. Write them all down, and I want you to write them down. Smallest debt and the amount you have to pay monthly, and then you want to do the next one and the next one until you've written all your debts down and what their minimum payment is. Once you've done that, you can look at what your budget is telling you, how much money you have to work with at the end of each month to pay towards those debts. If you are unable to pay towards those debts, only the bare minimum, that is when you need to look at increasing your income. So either getting a new job, side hustles, and I'm not saying getting out of debt is going to be fun, but once you are out of debt, it gives you such freedom. And just seeing wherever you can, sell stuff in your house is a great one. If you start selling things that you own, these are the things that you want to start to think about if the amount of your income isn't a huge amount that you can pay towards a debt. But once you've paid off, once you've written down all of your debts in smallest to highest, what you're going to do with the amount of money you have spare at the end of each month after all the necessities and all of your minimum payments have come out, that is all going to go on your smallest debt. So let's say you have a £100 credit card debt and then you have a £20,000 loan. I don't care what the interest is on those. Even if the £20,000 one has a huge amount of interest, we're still going to start with the smallest because it's that snowball effect that gives you such encouragement to keep going. So let's say you have £200 spare at the end of each month to pay towards your debt, and you've got £100 on your credit card, you get that paid off, and then the money that you were paying towards your smallest debts, once the first one is cleared, goes to the next debt. So you've got, then you move on to your second debt, and everything you have, everything that's left at the end of the month goes straight towards that debt. If you can spare £500 towards paying off your credit cards, paying off your loans, all of it goes in order of lowest to highest amount of debt. And the reason we do this rather than looking at the interest is it can be soul destroying. If you are paying your highest interest amount first, and it's a high amount, you feel like you're not getting anywhere. Whereas it's called the snowball effect. If you start knocking out them smaller debts first, and you see that, let's say you start off with 7 debts. You start off with some credit cards, some loans, and you've got 7 different forms of debt. If you have a few that are only a few £100s and you can wipe them out in a couple of months, then you go from having 7 to having 4 or 5. And that seems a lot more manageable. And then what you'll notice, it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. You make a small snowball and then it starts to roll down a hill and it collects it and gets bigger and bigger. The more of the smaller debts you pay off quickly, the more money you can put towards the next debt. And that's why it's called the snowball effect. We're gonna go through a budget and see where we can save as much money. If we can't save much money on our budget, we're getting another job, a side hustle, looking for higher incomes, and we're gonna start selling some items from our home to pay for these things. And I know people that have sold their engagement ring to get out of debt because they felt like, why have I got this ridiculously expensive thing when we're in thousands and thousands of pounds worth of debt? But if you keep going with this, you'll be surprised at how quickly you can get out of debt. I have got loads of content on my channel on ways to live a more frugal life. I have tips on 55 frugal tip videos and things we don't buy anymore, and I'll link all of them in the cards and down below. And you really just have to start getting creative. If you are in a lot of debt and one thing that you really struggle with is cooking, you like to get takeouts, you need to learn to cook. That will be your the biggest thing I can ever tell anyone to live a more frugal life and to who wants to save money is learn to cook. I have quite a few videos on my channel for cheap videos, for cheap recipes that you can check out. But it is a very quick video, and it's probably, there's a lot of stuff I would have missed out because I've had to really quickly film this video. But I will link as much stuff in the notes down below as I can that can help you. Check out the Dave Ramsey book, The Total Moneymaker. It is on Audible. Don't have to buy it. You can also listen to the Dave Ramsey podcast. It's a radio show, so they have daily updates, and it kind of just, if you keep listening to things that keep you going, and it helps you create rather than consume. So sometimes when I'm in a mood of I want to buy stuff, I'm feeling like, oh, everyone has these lovely things and I don't. I tend to try and absorb myself with things that are of a more frugal nature and remind myself why I'm living this lifestyle, because it is very easy when you're bored or you see things that you want, it's very easy to forget why you're doing this and the needs and the necessity and the long-term goal. So if a thing for you to help you get out of debt is stop following the social media people and influencers that make you want things, and absorb yourself with people that live and have more like-minded thoughts. So like the Dave Ramsey podcast and YouTubers that make you, YouTubers and Instagrammers or whatever it is that you like to consume, make that surrounded by people for a term that encourage you to live the lifestyle you need to get to your goals. And it might be for a time being you do unfollow, unsubscribe to these places that just make you feel like you want to spend money. And for everyone it will be different. If you've got all of the takeaway apps on your phone, delete them, get rid of them, then the temptation makes it that much harder to go, I want a takeaway tonight, let's just go on the app. And then once you've got your emergency fund set up and you're starting to pay off your debts, cut up all your credit cards. You do not have the option to buy them. And I actually do have a credit card, but that is because I've had years now of not going into debt and learning how things work. And my credit card is solely, the sole purpose of me originally getting my credit card was for, we were going to America years back, and to rent a car you need, and I was only like 22 or 23, but to rent a car in America I needed a credit card. But I now do not use my credit card. Sometimes what I do is I'll use my credit card for a very big purchase that I have the cash for in my bank account, pay it immediately, and I mean immediately off, just so I can get a few of the points. However, points can be a scam if you are not on top of it. So please don't take what I'm saying as, oh, you can have a credit card. No, if you're in debt and it is in temptation and it is an easy way for you to get into more debt, get rid of it, and then you don't have that safety net. Your safety net is your emergency fund. But that is my how to get out of debt video. And most of the things that I'm teaching you, I have learned through Dave Ramsey. So that is probably my biggest piece of advice. If you're wanting to live debt free, is go check him out and check his books out. And it's pretty much just the same, a lot of the same thing that I'm already telling you. And that's everything. I hope you have a great day, guys. And especially with Christmas coming up, I will be making some Christmas content on not getting into debt. And I've got some videos from last year on free and cheap Christmas gift ideas that please check out before you go spending all your money on Christmas this year. Check them out. They hopefully should really help out. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.